Good morning. This is Wednesday, November 27th, 2024. If I seem distracted, I am because I'm doing one last little adjustment that I didn't do beforehand because I'm still not following my checklists. I have audio confirmation. I heard audio. Yes, I did. If I come over here to chat and put in an exclamation mark Y, I can prove that SpeakerBot is working
Yes, affirmative.
myself. Yes, and I saw it on audio. And I could actually go back and hear it myself if I was quick enough. No, oh, yeah, there it was. Okay, that must have been confusing sounding to you. November 27th, 2024, 9 o'clock, 9:01 right now. Zavi, new day, new format. Hey, well, you may have seen. Let's see. I'm gonna pause this so we don't get the picture in picture. Doug's Help Desk, episode 0. Hey, Doug, why 0? Well, this is a pilot
Read
episode.
chat, please.
Hello, Rick. It's a pilot episode, and I don't know that I'm going to stick with the name Doug's Help Desk, although I'm feeling kind of good about it right now, but I'm not quite ready to start that because I need to get the thumbnail resolved, and I'll talk a little bit about thumbnail later on the show, but I'm going to dig right into the tech because I have an email from Martin Hogg here. He's got that laptop. I'm grateful for your interest in this case. Well, yes, I'm interested in this case and the case that laptop is in. I don't know if it was even in a case when they brought it to you. Yeah. Okay, Doug. Nice try, but no cigar. It's an Acer with Windows 10 22H2. Now, before somebody gets all excited, 22H2 is the last version of Windows 10. So there's no 23H2 for Windows 10, if I remember correctly. I'm sure if I'm wrong about that, you'll nail me in chat, but I'm pretty sure that's right. And starts to a black screen saying no bootable disk found, etc. Now, let me remind you about this. Hang on a moment. Yes, I could see that mute button worked. To remind you about this, and let's see if I've got this right from Martin, and he is in chat so he can confirm this. This laptop, his customer called him saying she couldn't shut it down. I think it was a she. Couldn't shut it down. And so what he did is had her unplug it from power and just let it run all the way down to where it just died. And that was successful. It shut off. But then they plug it back in and turn it on and it will not start. And we're going to see what happens here. But that's what led up. That's what led up to this. That's the history of it. It was working fine. It would not shut down properly. And the method they took to shut it down was to wear the battery down. I would have a couple other ways to go about that, but that is water under the bridge. So let's move along and see what he's found out about this since then. So let's see, battery is fully charged. Entering BIOS showed date time correct, so no CMOS issue. Well, I disagree with that, but I'm not sure if that's his point here. There's other things that can happen in BIOS than the date and time to be. I think probably what he's saying here is that the thinking that BIOS didn't lose its power, the battery, the CMOS battery was okay. That's probably what he's saying. Because I was speculating that wearing the battery all the way down, unplugging it from power, maybe it lost its BIOS settings. I think that's what he's saying here. But there still could be other settings within BIOS that are messed up. So I just talked that through. Once I speak it out loud, then I realized, oh, that's what he means. Boot menu was then set to USB. Now I'm assuming that's a boot menu in BIOS set up to boot to USB first, if the USB is connected. And Martin says the old lady decided to do that before she contacted me, not my advice. So it was not his advice to drain it all the way down to shut the computer off. Good, thank you for that. Boot menu was then set to USB and a Windows 10 rescue drive inserted, but not detected in any of the USB ports. However, other bootable media, Acronis or Linux, was detected in USB ports, pointing to a Windows issue rather than a faulty USB ports. I'd want to, now he may already know the answer to this, but I'd want to take that Windows 10 Rescue USB and plug it into another computer and be sure that that USB drive is still booting a computer. It might be one that you have used before, you've used for a long time, you've known it to be good, but it's not booting this computer. Just to be thorough. When troubleshooting gets difficult, being thorough and meticulous is important. Take that to another computer and be sure it will boot there. So he may be telling me in chat in a moment here about that, but not detected by any of the USB ports. However, other bootable media, Acronis Linux, was detected. Now, once you boot to Acronis, are you able to browse the installed drive? The drive that's inside the laptop, are you able to see it? I assume that when you boot to Acronis that is a thing. I know Macrim Reflect. I don't know Acronis very well. But in Macrim Reflect, when you boot from a USB, it is Windows recovery environment or a Linux environment, and you can browse through the drive to see if you can see it. Okay, so read chat, please. Ran Israel. Acronis based on Linux or WinPE? I guess he's asking which one was your Acronis based on, because Acronis is not an operating system. So it didn't boot to Acronis, it booted to the Windows PE operating system or Linux operating system, and then it launches the Acronis application. But it is, we call it Acronis bootable. So then also with Macrim Reflect, there is a boot repair function to fix Windows boot problems. Within Macrim Reflect, I suspect Acronis has that feature too. So you could try that. Pointing to, let's see, did Martin Hogg? No additional from Martin. Oh, there he is. Yes, Rescue USB works elsewhere after it failed to work on this laptop. And yes, Acronis can see files on the SSD. Okay, great. So it is a boot problem. Was detected pointing to a Windows issue rather than a faulty USB ports. Yeah, I think it's a Windows boot issue. BIOS also showed SATA as AHCI, which is normal. That's the most common. Sometimes it might be set to RAID depending upon the manufacturer of the computer, but not in the case of Acer. I don't think they ever did that. So changed to IDE, which enabled access to Windows repair environment and command prompt, where I could run System File Checker, Scan Now, and Check Disk. I'm not sure that that's valid to do when you've changed to IDE mode. I'm suspecting that somehow that just lets you get past that drive without it trying so hard. I definitely do not think that that means this computer should be set for IDE in order to access the hard drive. But this just enabled you to get booted to the Windows repair environment. We could run System File Checker, Scan Now. I have very low confidence that those would fix a boot problem with Windows. System File Checker, I think that's really focused on other system files that are beyond the boot operation, but I don't know that for sure. But I've had so rare success with System File Checker. I've had many occasions where I run it and it says it found stuff and repaired it, but it did not fix the problem that I was having. It is currently checking for disk errors, taking over an hour. I am now considering taking an image of the system and installing Clean 22H2. I like this a lot. Now back on BIOS, I forgot to mention on BIOS is try loading BIOS defaults, the manufacturer defaults for BIOS, because if something got messed up in BIOS, that would get you back fixed with that. But I don't think that's what's going on here. I think you actually got something about the boot files that got damaged by that method of shutting the computer down. I am now considering taking an image. Now, here a great thing to do is to do what recently was experienced by Nick Poverman. I believe that was at Zavi Menor's suggestion, is yeah, take an image backup of the entire drive and then install fresh Windows 10 22H2.
Read chat, please.
And then restore. Yeah, he's saying that there. Use the Zavi Manor method. Restore only the C drive, because that should fix all of your boot problems, and restore only the C partition to that freshly installed Windows 10 22H2. And that's going to be forever known as the Zavi Manor method. And that's what that last read chat message please prompt was for. Have changed SATA back to AHCI and original symptoms are back. Yep, that's expected. And that's where I think you should be. You should be on AHCI when you install Windows 10 22H2. No bootable device, insert boot disk, press any key. Now, one other thing there is when you're trying to boot to the Windows 10 recovery media, try the method of going into BIOS, go to the save and exit menu, and there should be a one-time override option there to boot to the USB drive. And in that list, it should identify the USB that you have inserted. Should identify something, the manufacturer name of the USB or something about the operating system that BIOS sees, and that's where you can really prove that the computer at a BIOS level does recognize that drive in that port. I suspect that it will, and then select that as the boot drive and see if that will boot. So far, all of this doesn't tell what technique you have been using to try to boot to the USB drive. I have found when you use the boot options function key on the keyboard during the power on, and I have found times that a USB bootable will not show up there. But if you go into BIOS, onto the save and exit menu on the boot override section, that's usually towards the bottom, there will be an option there to boot from that USB device, and it'll actually have a name in there that identifies that device. That might have something to do with secure boot mode. I haven't gone far enough down that rabbit hole to prove that one way or another, but those are some thoughts. The only way I can access Windows RE on USB is to use IDE as SATA mode. I don't think, and then that's what I'm saying is that may not be the only way. Plug in your USB before you turn the power on. Turn the power on, get into BIOS setup, and then see what it says there. I have not found it to be reliable to get into BIOS and then plug the USB thumb drive into the USB port. I want to have that installed in the computer when you start the computer. And I've seen this symptom even to the extent of having the USB drive plugged into the computer with Windows loaded. Go to the start menu, choose restart, hold down the shift key when you hit restart. That'll get to the advanced startup options, and there you can get to the option to boot from USB device, and that drive will not show up there, but it will show up when you go into BIOS, onto the save and exit menu down to the bottom, and choose the boot override for that USB drive, and it'll show there the name of that drive. I have done that multiple times. I'm thankful for your interest and welcome any comments you may have. I think I covered everything there. I'm glancing back over here onto my monitor.
Read chat, please.
2. Zavi says he didn't say if he tried to boot the system from the SSD in IDE mode. Okay, so there's your question for that, Martin. I don't see any way that IDE mode is going to be a valid choice for that drive, but he did, when he switched to IDE mode, let's see, what did he say here? Excuse me. ID, which enabled access to the Windows repair environment. Yeah, did you try to actually boot from the drive? I'm sure that would not work. And actually, if you switch to IDE mode, if you try to boot off of the SSD that's internal, I think it'll get you, it might get you into a different sequence, but I don't like that much. I don't like going down that road. Let's see, RAN Israel, just AHCI. Is Intel RST also enabled in BIOS? I should bring up chat. Okay, no, oh, I still have that paused. That's why. So I'm going to go back here a little bit. I did try SSD, but failed. Currently doing backup. So he's currently doing the image backup. And I'm assuming, Martin, does that mean you're going to try the method of fresh install Windows 10 22H2 and then restore only the C drive? That worked for Nick after he and I think other technicians in his environment were not able to find a solution. Let's see. Where's T? I am not going to get all the rest of those red. I'll get the oranges. Changing it up a bit. We'll talk about that in a moment. I think next. New day, new format. I already said that is just a trial balloon. A trial balloon today to see floating the notion. Haven't really talked that all through yet. It's coming up in a moment. When computers count in binary, they start at 0. Yes. In some forums, I am using for a nickname as help support. Oh, in some forums, I am using the nickname help support. Okay, gotcha. Okay, let's go talk about the thumbnails because there are some mentions up here. Changing it up a bit. Referring to the thumbnail this morning and the show title, interesting new look of the channel. Not quite the new look yet. I don't think that's going to continue into tomorrow. You'll understand why in a moment. Love the new look. Maybe one of our suggestions. Yes. There were a variety of suggestions that I've got in the show notes about the title. And I think Doug's PC Solutions and Doug's PC Helpdesk was the way it was worded from the chat room. But I kind of went to a little more simplified with just Doug's Helpdesk because it does, in fewest words possible, it does communicate enough. And I had previously thought we need PC. IT is a little too industry jargon for end users, because what I want this channel to be doing is to attract end users, pro technicians, amateur technicians, computer enthusiasts who are interested in how to make these computers work better and solve problems and things like that. You know that I'm not the hardware guy. I'm not going to be building a computer or tracking down hardware problems very often. So Doug's Helpdesk, I was thinking, well, that doesn't identify that it's Windows computers. And I thought, well, if somebody that's dealing with Linux or Macs or whatever else, their cell phones come in because they're not sure, well, that's okay because they probably also have Windows computers in their life. So that's why I'm thinking I'm really liking Doug's Helpdesk, and it sounds like it's a specific person. It's not a general help desk company where they're gonna get some random person. Although I was thinking about starting the show as welcome to Doug's Helpdesk. I'm Bartholomew. I'm your host today. Bartholomew, really? That's the one you pick? Then the next day I might be Theodore. Just to be weird. Okay, so anyway, yeah, that suggestion came from the chat room. Now the thumbnail,
read chat, please.
Excellent. Just add an Indian accent. Okay, I will see if I can do that. When I try to do a specific accent, I just fall apart. I can do weird things with my voice, but so vidIQ has been pushing a lot this week, this AI thumbnails. So I went playing around with that. And that's where the thumbnail for today came up. And it claims that it can use my pictures, but no, that didn't work out so well. So I'm going to show you some of those thumbnails. Here we go. That's one. I'll turn off my picture-in-picture. Get help now. Get help now. There's the number 3, and then 4, and then 5. And that's where we got onto this one. So here I start thinking, I got something here. This guy looks different in each of these pictures. I'm just going to go back to the previous one. Do these really look like the same person? They look pretty similar, but that face looks a little different shape. I don't know. These cables were a mess. These were iMacs. So then I asked it to make some changes, and I tried to get it to incorporate my photo. And I know Ken Stout put in my face, and we'll get to that one in a moment. The lettering, it kept changing that. I didn't ask you to change the lettering. I asked you to, I'm going back one. I asked you to change what monitor? Did I ask you to change those Dell monitors? I don't remember that. I was messing with the glasses. I was trying to get it to change the glasses. I was trying to get it to take the beard away. And it says, okay, I'll take the beard away. And then here's still the beard. I was trying to get something that looked more like me. And then this is the lettering that I think I wound up with. And then this lettering I didn't like so much. And then, let's see, that one. And then here's the one that Ken Stout sent. And you can see he's got the wrong aspect ratio for a thumbnail. He's got 961 by 458. He took a screenshot of this. By the time you blow this up to the full screen size, there's just all jagged edges everywhere. So I mistakenly sent him the wrong. I tried to send him the original photo, and I actually sent him his version back. That was a mistake. Yeah, go back here. The correct aspect ratio is 1280 by 724 the thumbnail. But anyway, what I'm liking about this is the help desk and me. So I think what I'm probably going to do is get a photo of me at this desk. And I think that's going to be the thumbnail that'll just stick with the channel, because I don't want somebody in a thumbnail that looks more attractive than me. People click on that and then they claim clickbait, clickbait. I thought it was this guy. So I think I need to be upfront. No, this is me. This is me. Yeah, Ken says in chat, I did get the original photo that claimed to be PNG. It is not, and would not load into DaVinci. Well, let it go. Let it go.
Read chat, please.
Don't spend any more time on that, Ken, because I don't intend to continue with that. Frankie B, how about Doug's tech support? I don't care for that so much, because end users, I think help desk is more commonly what they know. Tech support is what I, as a technician, would call to a software manufacturer or a hardware manufacturer when the technician needs support. Now, I know that's not the only interpretation of the word, but end users, if they hear Doug's help desk or Doug's IT support or tech support, what sounds more welcoming and end user welcoming, relevant? So I'm liking help desk more. You didn't have to retract that, Frankie. Well, I guess that was just his exclamation mark C is what he retracted. He didn't retract the suggestion. Let's see, we did that. Okay, did I cover everything about help desk? $205, what was that about? I don't think I'm going to try to catch up with that. Figure out what that is. Oh, that's this. A Crucial P3 4 terabyte PCI SSD, apparently a good price on that, but I've got another tech issue from the community to go deal with. So I will leave that in your very capable hands, community. Going to comments, video comments. This is the one that I want to get right to, actually. Greg M. Is Greg M in chat? Because I've got some thoughts on his issue that I think could be really helpful. I didn't get any search results for Greg M. Maybe he'll catch the show later. And I'd like to respond to the rest of these, but I'm going to hold off on that because I'm about at my half hour and I want to deal with this. Nick put in a comment about he was dealing with the Microsoft 365 outage. That was on Monday and couldn't be in chat. But Greg M, let's see, get a thumbs up and a heart on that. Greg M, I was dealing with an MS Classic Outlook 365 issue with Gmail Workspace account where it would not authenticate on Windows 11 laptop yet. Been there. I think I know your answer. Yet an iPhone worked fine and another laptop on different account on the same domain was fine. Password change did not help the laptop problem. Let's see, I've got these 3 tabs up here. Two directions to go with that. First is delete the account in Outlook and create it from scratch. Don't try to fix the password in the account that's already there because security settings for both the Gmail side and the Outlook side have been increasing recently. I'm going to show you a little bit about that in a moment. But if you start that from scratch and you're offered the different ways to set up, if you're offered the choice of a Google account, choose that. Choose that because that is going to be using the Google security implementations. Then the other thing that you can do with that, if that doesn't work out for you, is to use an app password. In Google, you go into your account, and I can't walk you all the way through this because there's too many places where it exposes my information, but you go into your Google account and then security and then 2-factor authentication, which doesn't make sense for this to be here. 2-factor authentication, then scroll all the way down and you'll find a section for app passwords. So for app passwords, what this does is app passwords help you sign into your Google account on older apps and services that don't support modern security standards. Now, even if the Outlook version you're using is not an older one, Google and Microsoft still are not on the same page with that. So this still could be a solution, but my preference, delete the account from Outlook, recreate it, choosing the Google account. And that should work for you very smoothly. But if it doesn't, then here's the next way to go. App passwords are less secure than using up-to-date apps and services that use modern security standards. Before you create an app password, you should check to see if your app needs this in order to sign in. I don't think you need to do that. I think you can just go straight to do it. So even with that account already configured in Outlook, you could try this method. I created one of these a few days ago on mine, but this app name, it doesn't really matter what name you call this. Turn caps lock off by pressing the caps lock key. Doug, how many times do I have to tell you? It's on the left side of your keyboard. It says it, caps lock. You can call it anything you want. You can use the name of the app, whatever, and then you click create. And it's generating a new app password. Oh, it wants to make sure who I am. So I'm going to go ahead and put in that password with my password manager. I'm taking this off because when I highlight all the different choices, that exposes some stuff. Oh, please tell me you didn't do that. It thinks my password was changed 4 seconds ago for Google. That's not right. Okay, I'll type it in what I know it is because I know that password. Humming along helps me type. And I spelled that wrong. Display the password. Be sure I've spelled it right. So I'm displaying it. Okay, got it typed right now. It should work. And I hope that works. Yeah, it worked. Okay, come back to here. So app name again. Bill's app. whatever, and create. This gives you a password for your device. So you copy that and paste it. It's a one-time password for that app. Now you're not going to be able to steal this and go sign into my account because I'm going to delete this right away. Go to the settings for your Google account in the application or device you're trying to set up. Replace your password. So instead of the password that's assigned to that email account, use this password in the password field for that account. Replace your password with the 16-character password shown above. Just like your normal password, this app password grants complete access to your Google account. Complete access to your Google account. I don't think it's just access to email because this could be for any app that you're trying to use with your Google account. You won't need to remember it.
Read chat, please.
You won't need to remember it, so don't write it down or share it to anyone. I will get to that link in a minute. Zvi, I want to finish what I have to say before I go there. Okay, so then I'm going to take that off screen. I'm going to go delete, and I can show you delete it. So I'm going right here to this garbage can and deleting it. So yeah, I have another one there. It is not that same 16-digit password. So that won't work anywhere because that is not stored on my account. And let's see, hang on, something else. Something else. I thought there was. All right, I'm going to come to Zvi's link because I'm expecting that it's going to be on this topic. Hoping it's on this topic. Oh, yes, no, I remember what else I want to show first. I'm going to show this first. Is over here, less secure apps in your Google account. Starting January 25th, less secure apps, third-party apps, and devices that have you sign in with only your username and password will no longer be supported for Google Workspace account. I am using Google Workspace. Not all Gmail accounts are Google Workspace. For exact dates, visit Google Workspace updates. To continue using a specific app with your Google account. Now, I might run into some problems with some of my clients over this issue come January 2025. And then this one, this is the Google search that will bring up the instructions. How do I get an app password for email? So this will tell you, go sign into your Google account, click security. Under signing into Google, click app passwords. Now, I found this one to be not correct. You have to go into two-factor authentication to get to app passwords. Okay, and then that's all that I had lined up there. Now, let's go see what Zvi's got. Transition from less secure apps to OAuth. Starting January 25, you and your
Read
users,
chat, please.
Martin Hogg's got a read chat message. Let me get through this first. You and your users must use OAuth for third-party apps to access Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Contacts. OAuth is a more secure access method. I think that's what you're going to get when you delete that account from Outlook and go create it new and choose Google account. I think that's what this OAuth is. More secure access method. You will no longer use a password for access, with the exception of app passwords. Google is turning off access to less secure apps. Now, but Outlook will be okay because what you got to do is use the correct method in Outlook. An existing configuration in Outlook that was not created as a Google account, when it was created in Outlook, I think it's going to run into a problem. So you have to delete it from Outlook, go create a new account, and then that's going to give you the Google account added to Outlook, and that would be with OAuth, if I'm understanding this right. Turn off access to less secure apps, and that's fine. Non-Google apps that can access Google accounts with a username and password. Basic authentication. Using basic authentication makes accounts more vulnerable to hijacking attempts. Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm on board with that. Okay, now let's see what that last read chat, please, was. That's the must see. Wasn't there another one? Yeah, Martin Hogg. Yeah, let's go this way because I like this way. Martin Hogg channel activity here, most recent at the top. Smiley face, better shows as professional, experienced, helpful. Yeah, it gave me some options for the different smiles on that technician. But yeah, I like a smile. Help desk, can you help with plumbing too? Yes, and that was on my mind. I think the image in the thumbnail will make it clear that we're talking about help for computer users. And it's not going to be Dell. That was one of the things. It just threw that onto one of those thumbnails as I was making changes. But it's going to be my desk. The eventually, if I use that photo layout, it's going to be my desk, my stuff, because it's all about me. Yeah. Does automatic repair ever work? Yeah, I have had it work. I think that's what he was trying to get me to. Why is Google under a Microsoft? Is it because their search such a good product? I'm not sure what microscope you're talking about. Yeah, I'm not sure why you're thinking they're under a microscope. We're talking about Gmail accounts. Those are Google accounts. Gmail Workspace now using Sync for Microsoft. GWSMO, that sounds like some kind of additive in food products, like in Chinese food. MSG. That's what I thought of. Now using Sync for Microsoft Outlook and not less secure. I used a Sync for Microsoft Outlook long time ago, like 20 years ago, it seems. It had some kind of a sync product was that for Outlook? Or QuickBooks? Something back in the day that I used to synchronize between my computers, way back in the old days. MSG is what makes your Chinese food taste so good, make it come back for more.
Read chat, please.
It's basically salt, isn't it? Came across this. Answers from Microsoft from Greg M. Oh, Greg M is here. Did you hear what I was just talking about, Greg M, regarding your classic? That's probably what this link is. Can't add Google Workspace email account using OAuth to Outlook. This is something that's been working for years now, but not anymore. In Outlook, I open account settings, go to the email tab, click new, then enter my email address was with Google. On the next page, I select Google. Okay, that's it. In Outlook, I open account settings, email tab, click new. So new, then enter my email address that is with Google. On the next page, I select Google. So choosing a Google account. Then it says we couldn't log on to the incoming POP IMAP server. There's also a place in Google to allow less secure apps. Please check your email address and password. Try again. I've never entered a password though. It never got that far. Yeah, wouldn't get to that far. Pop IMAP. You can also turn on IMAP support in your Google account. Tried setting up manually by entering IMAP and SMP details. Let me see if I can bring that up right now. Right now on my Google account, because I just saw where this is. No, not there. Oh, it's on. Let's see. Where can I get to? Can I show all this? Yeah, so here I'm on my Gmail, and then go to the settings gear icon, and then take that off screen when I click on that. And then bring that back on screen because this is safe. Then click see all settings, take that off. And then let's see, I gotta bring this back to its normal size. Now, can I show all of this? Looks like I can. Yeah, so this is the screen that all settings takes you to. Yeah, takes you to here. So then you go to forwarding and pop IMAP. I'm going to take that off screen when I click on this right below my mouse. And then show this. POP is disabled by default. IMAP is disabled by default. I believe it's by default. So you come in here and enable IMAP so that IMAP can be used with your Gmail account. And I am using Google Workspaces. My account is managed by the administrator, which is me or some other Doug, and I can still get access to this. And I think there was somewhere where I had to click to allow end users to be able to make this change. You might have to make the change as an admin of the Google Workspace account. But so that's another thing that might be going on in this situation. Okay,
Yes,
so I'm trying to take
affirmative.
these in use. Zavi says you have to use the Google admin to make those changes available to the end user. I'm assuming that's what he meant. How are you getting on with the PC behind you? It's been pretty much ignored. I really haven't been doing anything with it. I've been using the laptop, the Zen Aero laptop. It's a N95, I think, and it's working great. I have no complaints about this all-in-one, but I'm not having an occasion to use it much. I do have it set up to do my remote support. I ought to be trying that now and then. Oh, I'm trying to get to the oranges. Greg, I'm having an issue with a client in their Google Workspace MS365 password does not authenticate properly. Even changing the password does not work. And I've talked about that a lot since that message. So I don't know where he's currently at with that. Maybe he's telling me something more. And we already looked at that. Deleting an account in Outlook does not remove everything, as I found out the other day. Oh, yes. So the other thing that I've done is when I have Outlook that has multiple email accounts, I have found it useful to not just delete the Google account and recreate it, but actually delete all the accounts. So there is no Outlook account, and it didn't. I tried doing just a new profile, wasn't good enough. Delete all the Outlook accounts so that there are no Outlook accounts configured. Go into Control Panel, go into the Mail Applet, be sure everything's deleted from there. Then launch Outlook, the Outlook app. Launch that, and that's going to take you through configuring the first email account for Outlook. I have found that to work when manipulating the accounts from within an existing Outlook profile did not work. That's weird. Why is Google under the microscope? Oh, we gotta go see. We gotta go see Stormy, otherwise known as Windy. Gmail Workspace now using Sync for Microsoft Outlook. I think I'm going to keep calling that MSG anytime I see it. Because Department of Justice is saying Google is a monopoly. I don't know what you're referring to about them being under a microscope. Are they under a microscope any more than Microsoft or Apple? And John, that's what he's saying. Department of Justice is saying Google is a monopoly. That's arguable. Maybe yes, maybe no. I'm not sure what issue Jim was responding to there.
Read chat,
I'm not going to
please.
try. It's Chrome, not Google. Chrome is the problem, not. Google? Oh, is the Department of Justice has Chrome, the browser, under the microscope? Or that Chrome is the monopoly rather than Google? Oops, I have to. Oh, Josh, I've got a
Read
phone
chat,
call
please.
I'm expecting in about 15 minutes from now. So we're going to have to delay a little bit more to sell off its Chrome browser. All right. So yeah, Department of Justice is on. I don't keep up with news. That doesn't help me ever. DOJ because search is a monopoly. All right. Yeah. Okay. So I know that that exists. I'm not going to research that more because I don't care. They can deal with that in courts. Do you use domain name in workspace user's account? Google is managing my domain name. I guess that's what you're asking. I'm not certain. Do you use domain name in workspace user's account? Department of Justice suggesting they divest themselves. Fine. You guys can tell me what's going on with that if you want to. I don't really care. Doesn't make a hoot of difference to me. Do you use domain name? Yeah, I understood you meant domain name, at domain name. I'm trying to see if I can come up with a quick answer to that. Yeah, I think I can show this here. This would probably answer Zvi's question. Yeah, let's do this. There's nothing there exposed. Doug at DougBetts.com, managed by DougBetts.com. There's an admin console, manage your Google account. Yeah, my domain is Foursquare in Google's hands. Does that answer your question, Zvi? Yes, his client has a domain and workspace is their email handler for Greg M. So it sounds like it's very similar to my setup, except that I think I have allowed the end users to modify their iPop, their POP3 on IMAP settings. I really remember that. All right, I think it's time for me to get out of here because I'm expecting a phone call. I have to prepare for. So Josh.
Yes, affirmative.
Yeah, Zvi says that's what he meant. Gary's got a Cronus bootable media based on Linux. Okay. Josh, I'm probably going to be on my phone call till about 15 minutes after the hour. So probably about half an hour from now. Now you can just go into my Zoom session and just sit there and wait. I don't even have it open on my side yet. Josh and I are going to work on his Macrim Reflect issue. I'll record that and probably play portions of it on a future episode. And he says okay in chat. So thanks for giving me that acknowledgement. Here's the email address if you want to send a question. You can send pictures, you can send video, you can send questions about things that are that you're dealing with Windows. Either it could be a solved issue that you went through and I'll talk through it during a live stream. It can be a question that you have, something you're struggling with. I do not generally reply to the emails. Now, why, Doug, do you not reply to the emails? It's so quick and simple to do. Because when I start typing, then I think, oh, I need to add this. And, oh, that might be misunderstood. Or that might be mistaken for something else. I wind up editing a simple email for half a freaking hour to send a 2 or 3 sentence email. So, no, I will respond to them during a live show. Goodbye. Porky, where are you? Porky. Here, Porky. Here, Porky. Here, Porky. Here, Porky. Good, Porky.
That's all, folks.